Hey there everybody, it's Amanda, how's it going? And yes, I'm here with an actual Dragon Ball toy video today, can you believe it? Today, we're gonna look at my Dragon Stars figures. So yeah, so before the quarantine happened, before the Corona era came to ruin all of our lives, I kind of got obsessed with Dragon Star figures. I wasn't expecting it to happen. It was just sort of a perfect storm of things. So I did make a Dragon Stars video a while back ago. It was about the Frieza figure, who's become very, very floppy at this point. Unfortunately, like a lot of these figures. But yeah, so I did make a video about him at one point, so I'm actually not going to cover him again in this video. Excellent figure, though, I will say that. Again, the floppiness is just a thing that you gotta live with sometimes. You know, you can fix that with a little crazy glue on the joints and whatnot. You know, it's... they're nice enough to work with that way. But anyway, I went kind of crazy. I bought a ton of them. I don't have all of them. I have some of the special ones. I've got a very nice, respectable collection of the Dragon Stars figures by Bandai. So before everything happened, I bought some of them on eBay in lots. I bought a whole ton of them from Sell Toys, which is a used toy store here in Chicago that I made a video about recently. I'll leave a link below to that video as well as information about the store. I think he is still open, but by appointment. So if you are in the Chicagoland area and you have to abandon a stay-at-home order to go buy toys, which I understand, definitely go check it out and just the great social media and stuff. So anyway, links below to Sell Toys. And then I also just, one of my favorite things on earth is there's a toy series out that I love and I have to have, and I have to somehow find all of them at all the various Walgreens. I've been doing that since I was a kid. And so that was a really nice nostalgic thing. It was a couple weeks there where I was basically running around to all the different Walgreens in the city and seeing who had toys and who had these toys and, and just picking them up as I found them. So how many do you have, old fan? I have this many. Again, it's not all of them, but it's a very respectable collection. So I don't want this video to be 10 hours long. I'm not going to say a humongous amount about each one, but I will go through them each and, just say a little piece. Some of them I'll have more to say about than others. We'll see what happens. So yeah, first things first, this is one of the newer ones. This is the cooler figure from movie 5. Gorgeous. Just a gorgeous fucking figure. So, they really did a first with this one, because there really has never, to my knowledge, been a 5'6" fully articulated freezer figure. I mean, a cooler figure. And they just did a magnificent job on him. This one, at least, the joints are nice and tight. He's just well painted, well articulated, just an incredible display figure. So, huge win on that one. The Ultra Instinct Goku is okay. This is the one where that is a bit of an error. So they released 2 versions of this, from what I understand. Perhaps more. Maybe there is a 3rd version. I think there's a special, convention-y special one. I don't know. So on this one, which is the error, they didn't paint the belt blue. So I don't care. I would like to get the other version or versions of him, just because I think I would like to go for a full series, a full collection of them at some point. I'm in no hurry, but I would like to collect them all at some point. It's okay. I'm not really that into the Ultra Instinct thing. I don't really care. Yeah, it's not bad. I love this. We're going to talk more about this body sculpt, because this body sculpt, at least on some of the other versions, is phenomenal, in my opinion. You don't have to listen to me. So this was one of the Build-A-Figures. I don't remember what series this particular Build-A-Figure. I don't remember which series you could get this one in. I did not buy all the individual figures to make the Broly. I got the Broly loose, again, at Sell Toys. And, you know, he's really nice, honestly. Like, the fact that they released this as a bonus and not as a regular release is kind of astounding, because frankly it's a really nice Broly figure. I kind of wouldn't be terribly surprised if at some point they do release this as a regular release with one of the upcoming series. It just seems like too nice a figure to not, you know, recycle back into the main line. Maybe that'll never happen, but it just seems like it's a given. But yeah, quite excellent. You know, again, a little bit of a harder figure to get your hands on, just because you know, you couldn't just buy him like this. You know, you had to actually get all these other individual figures and then piece them together. Though, you know, he does show up on eBay pretty regularly, so if you really want him. So I love Beerus. I have to say that, so he's from Series 1. He was one of the original releases from this toy line, from the Dragon Stars toy line. And he was one of the ones I most wanted when that original Series 1 wave came out, because I love the character. It's a beautiful Beerus figure. It really, really is. It does have some issues. For one, I'd like to be able to move the arms like this a little bit. He's a little bit too locked. His arm articulation does leave something to be desired, let's put it that way. But aside from that, it's a wonderful likeness of the character, well painted. It's beautiful. So really, it's not much not to love. So Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku, gorgeous. I love this sculpt. Not my favorite of the you know, I like that they made a Kaioken figure. But I like the one that's not Kaioken of this sculpt and head better than this particular one. But lovely. You know, I'm glad it's in my collection. Lovely. Let's talk briefly about the regular Super Saiyan Goku. So there was, well, maybe I'll dig them out now if I can find them right away. I can't, so I don't want to. So there's a number of Super Saiyan Goku figures from the Dragon Stars line. There was one that was released in Series 1, which was just the Series 1 Goku with a Super Saiyan head. And I don't have the Series 1 Super Saiyan Goku, but I have the Series 1 regular Goku, base Goku. And I have to say, this is far superior. The body sculpt, the head sculpt, just far superior to that Series 1 Goku. In my opinion, this is a great Super Saiyan Goku figure. Like, you know, if I was a kid and this was my first Goku figure that I got at Walgreens, like, it beats a lot of the classics as far as, like, you know, a potential first Goku figure for somebody. It's a really magnificent likeness. The articulation is fantastic. It just looks so good. And it's like, I know that they've reused this body sculpt a lot, but it's almost, and I mean, I don't know if anybody else feels this way. In my opinion, it's so good. That I almost don't care. You know, it would be nice if it was a little bit more like Figure Arts and you could just buy this body with a bunch of heads. I mean, it is a racket to keep releasing it with just different heads. But it's so high quality. You know, and the joints are nice on this one. I don't know if that's something, you know, on this particular one and the other Gokus of this body type. I don't know if you guys have had an experience of the joints loosening up particularly badly on this sculpt. But man, I love it. It was actually kind of one of the ones, like, I wasn't going to get, because I'm like, do I really need another fucking Super Saiyan Goku figure? Probably not. But then I actually, like, I was at a Walgreens and I found him and I'm like, he looks so good. I mean, it's I have to say, like, so the only Figure Arts that I ever had was the original release of the Super Saiyan Gohan. And it was okay. I know that they released others after that were a vast improvement. I've held other Figure Arts figures. I don't really like them. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. Some of them I would love to have in my collection. I think they're gorgeous. And they're very special. But they don't really appeal to me, for whatever reason. So I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying you're bad if you like them. I'm just saying they don't really appeal to me. I don't really like the figurized models. I love the idea of the figurized models. I love model kits, and I love snap together model kits. But they don't appeal to me. And again, I've seen them, I've held them, I've played with them a little bit. I just don't like them. These I love. These are well done. And they just have a nostalgic feel. And again, the acquisition part of it is very potent for me. Because again, I love being able to run around, the world. It's impossible to do now, but I loved in the past to run around the world and, easily, fairly obtain new toy lines, and you could do that with these. So I do have his foot. It's somewhere in the box. It just, for whatever reason, pops off. This is a terrible figure. I mean, this is one of the worst Dragon Stars. It's, of course, Jiren. I like Jiren. I like Dragon Ball Super. But he just doesn't feel good. He feels hollow and rickety, and it's not a great sculpt. It's not a great... The head is not really all that fantastic. It's just not a great figure. I don't know what else to say about it. There really aren't that many clunkers, in my opinion. But there are a couple. That's one of them. Hands down, I'm sorry. Like, hands down, this is one of the best Gohan figures I've ever seen in my life. And the fact that it's a Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Like, there are less Super Saiyan 2 Gohan figures than you'd think. Like, certainly in the last 10 years, they've released more of them. I remember a time where it was like now when I say Dragon Ball Evolution, I don't mean the dreaded Dragon Ball Evolution. There was a Unify series, called it was Dragon Ball Evolution, but Dragon Ball Z Evolution, I think it was something like that. And they were beautiful figures, really hard. I mean, they've gotten harder to find now. I think it was a little bit before the hybrids came out and everything, and they had a decent amount of articulation, and the ultimate Gohan that they released had a small, like 4 or 5 inch Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and that was like the best Super Saiyan 2 Gohan that you could get. And I've seen and owned the Figure Arts one. I've seen and played with the Figurized Gohan. Obviously, there's a lot of nice Super Saiyan 2 Gohan statues. That's not really what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about action figures. There's just not a lot of great Super Saiyan 2 action figures. There was none in Super Battle Collection. There's plenty of little Keshi typey things, but not like this. This was actually one of the very first ones that I found and bought at a Walgreens. I was just in the store like, I can't say no to this. Where have you been all my life? It's a great figure. If you buy one of these toys, he's the one. So yeah, I love this. I love that Gohan. Yeah, quickly talking about the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So obviously it's the same body. But this, and it's a little chintzy on the hair. It is. Like, this is not... This really... See? See what I'm working with? See what I have to work with here? It's a little... it's not full enough. They do a better job on the Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. We'll talk about that in a minute. But this head sculpt is smart. It's smart. It works really well with the body. And it looks... They managed to sort of sculpt it to where, like, with this hair, the chest looks right for a Super Saiyan 3. It looks puffed out, but there's no difference in the sculpt from one version to the next. So it's a very intelligent design, unlike life. It's a very intelligently designed toy. From the front, again, I don't know that I'm crazy about all this space here, but from the front, really nice Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Really nice. I mean, it's not the easiest thing to pull off, a Super Saiyan 3 sculpture or figure of any kind. So when it's done well, it's kind of exciting. So this is I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, an exclusive figure to GameStop. This is actually, believe it or not, one of my favorite figures in the whole line. This, of course, like a battle damage Super Saiyan Goku. Just somehow, for some reason, has an incredibly classic look. To me, it's always reminded me of... So Bandai had the Super Battle Collection, but then they also had a vinyl series of toys called the Super Collection. And it wasn't part of the Super Collection, but it's sometimes put in the Super Collection. It's like the Super Saiyan Goku that's like a little bit taller than all the other figures in that line, and it was like I don't remember the story behind it, but it's kind of a blocky looking vinyl Super Saiyan Goku, battle damage. Looks exactly like this, and it just reminds me of that figure for some reason. Yeah, it just has a very, very classic Dragon Ball toy kind of look somehow for some reason, and I love it. I just think it's absolutely one of the best figures the whole series has going. So this is Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta in his Whis training clothing. I actually personally, out of the ones I have anyway, I think this is the best Vegeta in the whole series. I don't like a lot of the other Vegetas that came out for Dragon Stars. I think a lot of them kind of suck, actually. I think this is a great. I think it's a great one. I mean, he looks a little. How do I say it? He looks strangely cartoony, which I don't. Looks like I don't know how to even describe my feelings on that. He just doesn't doesn't quite look anime. He looks a little some other kind of animation, and I don't know why. Something to do with the sculpt of the face. But I love that it's a very unique Vegeta, obviously, because it's from a very specific era of Vegeta in Dragon Ball Super. He doesn't usually have this geesh on, with the Whis symbol and all that. So it's a unique Vegeta. It's just a good rendering of that kind of Vegeta. So I really like it. I'm sorry. I really, really like it. Yeah, I have two of these. So anyway, well, speaking of, this is the Series 1 Vegeta. So a lot of the Series 1 figures were kind of stylized, and they just sort of had I don't know how else to describe it other than a look of like, we're a Japanese toy character of a Japanese character made by an American iteration of a toy company. I don't know, it just had a very sort of like affected kind of look to it. And I kind of, besides the Beerus, I feel that way about all of the other figures in Series 1, really, I think, unless I'm forgetting one that I feel differently about. The whole thing looks like they sculpted it and then they just put it in like a press for, a good 20 seconds or something. There's just something very flat about it. I don't like it. I mean, I'm happy to have it in the collection. I do want all of them. He does this strange leg popping thing where if you pull one side, the other one comes out, the other one like this and like this. He also has these weird pectoral muscles that sort of looks like he's like some sort of baby drag queen in training. Like he's got his nuts tucked up into his fupa. And, yeah, I don't know. Makes me feel funny. Which I'm fine with, but, like father, like son, this figure sucks too. I think both of the Super Saiyan Trunksy, let me find the other one. I think both of these are terrible. I really do. Why are his feet so fucking big? Why? It's a lot of strange sculptural choices. A lot of strange story choices with future Trunks coming back, honestly. I do kind of feel like it was my least favorite part of Super was Future. Even though I was happy Future Trunks came back, I want to see more of Future Trunks. Yeah, I don't know what to say about these. They're just not on par with a lot of the sculpting and a lot of the rest of the figures in the series, which is kind of unfortunate. Cell. So Cell is beautiful. A little tall, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, in certain pieces of the artwork, Cell looks exactly like this, really. Very good wing attachment, thing here. I mean, we've come a long way since the Super Battle Collection. Peg syndrome foolishness. I like that his little back penis doesn't come out. Yeah, it's just a really nice Cell figure. I don't know what else to say. Cell has never been my favorite of the villains, but I've always appreciated his extraordinarily bizarre and unique design. And yeah, I mean, there's not too many Cell figures that I've had where I'm like, ugh. There's not too many Cell figures that make me just a little wet. This one doesn't. My 12-inch... get in trouble here. My 12-inch vinyl one is gorgeous. And that's my favorite Cell figure. But this is, like, a very respectable Cell figure. It's really nice. Krillin, unfortunately, is one of the worst... another one of the worst figures in this series. He's way too tall. I don't really care about scale. I've never been one of these collectors who's like, I won't collect this figure with that figure because in the show he doesn't match up. It's fine if that's the way you want to collect toys. I don't. I don't know that he's necessarily 100% inaccurate to some select particular drawings from the manga or the anime. I mean, facially, I actually kind of think it's a very accurate Krillin face sculpt. I mean, he's I mean, there's certainly art of him where he doesn't look like this, but there is some out there where he absolutely does. I just feel like if they kind of just took an inch off the legs, this would be a great figure. What I do appreciate about the existence of this figure is that I think Dragon Stars is, for the most part, doing a fairly good job of, sculpting a little bit from Super, and sculpting a little bit from Z, and sculpting a little bit from GT, and I like that. It's a I'd like to see some Dragon Ball characters thrown in from the original series too. That would really be the icing on the cake. Be really nice if we got at least a Kid Goku or something down the line. I'd like to see how they what they do with that. They don't really have that many smaller characters. Like, I'd really like to see a Goten and Trunks set or something like that, or a Kid Gohan. We don't have much representation that way. But I like that they jump around and do a bunch of different, a little bit from each series. I feel like they have done a good job so far on that. So here's the new, the Broly from the newer movie. Great figure. Excellent figure. A little weird in the shoulders, but not the easiest character or design to get this right. They get a lot right here, and yeah, I think he's beautiful. I like the movie too. I went and saw the movie the birthday before last when it was in theaters, and I enjoyed it a lot. It was good. Crazy, but I appreciate that. So what are we gonna look at now? So, first form Frieza. So, one of the stars of Dragon Stars. What can I say? Again, there's a couple of first form Frieza toys. They are definitely out there. Those old Irwin blasting figures. There's, I think Ichiban Kuji had a nice one, in the pod. There's a bunch of them. I'm not, but not that many. And not many of them that are just, accessible, that you can actually, go on eBay and, buy for a fairly inexpensive price or find in a store. And it's a shame because, the first form Frieza design is so iconic. And this is a great figure. I mean, it's excellent. And I was able to find this really cheap. For a period of time, it was on Amazon for, I think, $11 or something like that. So, truly one of the stars of Dragon Stars, as I have said again. So this we'll just talk about briefly. So, of course, this is the golden Frieza version of the, Frieza that I made a video about quite some time ago. Beautiful. I mean, just absolutely beautiful. I think there were more than one version of this figure, from what I understand. I don't know. I think the face was colored a little differently. It's a pretty good Facebook group about the Dragon Stars figures. I don't know if they'd want me to link to them. I'll ask ahead of time, I guess. But you know, they show, you know, the people on that group, or it's a page, I don't know. I think it's a group. You know, do post some really good pictures of all the variants and stuff like that. But anyway, really nice figure, beautiful. I kind of like that movie too. I mean, it's kind of a shitty movie, but it's I've grown to like it a lot more than I did when I reviewed it a while back. So I'll show both of these at once. So I don't have the regular Gogeta. That's still one of the ones that I'm missing. This, again, was one of the first ones that I got from a Walgreens, so it's the Super Saiyan Blue version of Gogeta. I really like this figure because he's so chunky and tall, and it's just a great, you got a plaything in your hand kind of feel. I like that all the detailing on the abs, and it's very different than a lot of the other toys in the series. I don't know exactly why this one got the kind of attention that it did. The only thing I can think of is that it's sort of, it's a movie version toy, but even the cooler didn't get that kind of, shading or anything like that. So, yeah, phenomenal, really. And then I did order this one off eBay. I did not actually find him at a Walgreens, but this was a Walgreens exclusive, just Super Saiyan Gogeta from the newest movie. And I thought I would like this one a lot more. This sculpt and everything does work better with the blue hair for whatever reason. I don't fully understand either. But yeah, very nice. I love Gogeta. Movie 12 with Janemba. One of my favorite movies of all time. Not just like favorite anime movies, like one of my favorite movies of all time. So, the fact that they brought Gogeta back, you really can't go wrong with. So I'll show these both at once because I don't really want to spend too much time on them. So these were the original from Series 1, the regular Goku and Super Saiyan Vegeta. So again, just very weirdly stylized, just very, again, I don't know if you can, but just very flat. Just looks like they made a sculpture and whooshed it a little bit and then released it to the public. They get something right here in the hips, and I mean, there's some very clever. I mean, I like the leg sculpt, but everything above the waist is just weird. And again, the testicular fupa action Vegeta and his weird legs, and just, I mean, they put a little shading on him, which is nice, but it just not a horrible head sculpt, but it just doesn't work. I mean, one thing I want to say about this is, so pictures from the next set of releases have kind of popped up a little bit here and there. They're from one of the toy fairs, I think. And they do show like a new, base form Goku to be released that has, this body with a regular Goku head. And there was some griping about that because it's like, well, why are they releasing another regular Goku? Don't we have enough Gokus? But it's like, this is the only base form Goku that we've had from all of Dragon Stars, except for the exclusive-y, convention-y ones, which I have one of. I'll show in a minute. Yeah, it's time for an update. I really, frankly, want to buy a regular Goku with a regular Goku head with this body. We don't have that yet. Either release the head so I can just pop off the head and swap them whenever I want, or release this figure again with this head. So I'm glad they're putting that out. They're also putting out a regular Gotenks. Super excited about that. And we're getting a second form Janemba, which again, I don't think any toy company since AB back in the old days has unless I'm forgetting one, I'm probably forgetting one, but there have been, again, little Keshi ones and small little crappy things, but not many of the crappy things that I love, but I'm just saying, there hasn't really been an action figure of second form Janemba in many a moon, so that's very, very exciting. I think there's something else too, but I'm forgetting. So let's briefly look at, I don't want this video to get too long, but I don't have all of the GT Dragon Stars figures. I don't have the Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I will get him eventually. I've never been the biggest fan of Super Saiyan 4 Goku's design. It's not horrible, it's just, to me, personally, vastly inferior to the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. The Vegeta is very nice. I like, yeah, very, very nice. Like, for some reason, with most GT figures, higher quality than Z or Super in many cases. There's just something a little extra about the GT figures, and that was definitely the true for the Super Battle Collection. A lot of the Z figures looked like shit, but by the time you got to GT, a lot of them were really nice toys. So the Vegeta is very nice. The Gogeta is phenomenal. This is a great Super Saiyan 4 Vegito. Gogeta. What the hell am I talking about? It's a great Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Yeah, just amazing. Like, again, maybe one of the best in the whole series. Okay, we're winding down. Yes. Okay, so I have Kale. Kale was another one of the Build-A-Figures. So, she is, of course, from Super. I love this guy. I love the ballsy, gender-bendery whateverness of Kale. It was so cool to see Dragon Ball Z finally do something like this. So, as a character, maybe not my favorite character, but yeah, I love that they basically made a female Broly. It's just so cool. So again, this is one of the figures that you couldn't, buy outright. You had to actually, like, buy the whole series, one of the series, and then build the figure from there. Really nice knee joints. Probably the best knee joints of the whole series. For some reason, just nicely, really, the ratchets are good on this, on Kale. So, yeah, interesting character, interesting figure. I like it. Piccolo, so there was at least 2 Piccolos released. There was this one, and then there was one with the cape and maybe the turban. I don't know if the turban was on the other sculpt. It's alright. It's a Piccolo figure. Piccolo is a strange character because, I love Piccolo. Boy, his legs are also quite broken. Very floppy. A lot of these figures are very floppy. I'm not saying it over and over again, but it should be remarked at least once every 10 minutes. They're very floppy figures. They can be anyway. But there's a certain level of, like, you have one Piccolo figure, you kind of have most of them. That's not always true, obviously. Metacom Piccolo, some of the Piccolo sculptures that are out there. There are some special Piccolos in the world. There's no doubt about that. But a lot of the Piccolo action figures that exist, like, I've seen it. Jax didn't do something significantly different than this. I don't even know that theirs was better. I don't even know if this one is better. It's a Piccolo figure. I hate that I feel that way, but there's not a whole lot distinguishing Piccolo to Piccolo from series to series. I don't know why that is. It's sometimes true of characters like Goku, but it just seems like Piccolo, for whatever reason, is hit especially hard by that feeling. So, one of my absolute favorites from the series, Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. The only problem with this figure really is that his hair is just too massive to stand up. This figure really can't stand up. He is definitely a lean against the wall kind of toy. Which is fine. Which is not necessarily different than how I would probably display him anyway, but man, they got him right. It's a great Super Saiyan 3 figure. Again, not an easy thing to pull off. The very nature of Super Saiyan 3, the hair, the way it all kind of has to work together in a cohesive sculpt. Not many have pulled it off, and I'm not saying this is perfect, but it's really good. For a relatively low price point toy, like, I'm quite impressed. It's just a really good figure. Definitely one of my favorites of the whole line. So this is another one of the the GameStop exclusives. I remember when these came out, I'd go into GameStop with friends of mine, and we, there was this one, and then there's like a dark evil Goku, and there's a dark evil the Vegeta looks like shit. But anyway, I think that's it. I think there's just 3 of them, and I never wanted any of them. I'm like, if I'm gonna spend money on Dragon Ball toys again, that is not what I that is not the tea. And I still don't really want the Vegeta and Piccolo. I'll pick them up if I can find them inexpensively or not. But there's a nice Gohan. I mean, it really is. Let me try to pull out the other 2. So, of course, there's the, regular base form Ultimate Gohan. It's a pretty nice Gohan. It's not the best. It's okay. There's something off about the face. So, it's the same, it's the Goku body, so you kind of can't go wrong with the body sculpt, but it's not, there is something a little off about his face. This one, I just want to burn at the stake. So, I've watched Dragon Ball Super, but I can't say that I'm so familiar with Dragon Ball Super to be able to say that, yes, in Dragon Ball Super, Gohan finally went Super Saiyan in this outfit. But besides what may or may not have taken place in Dragon Ball Super, Gohan never went Super Saiyan while wearing his father's gi at any point in the show. And this is a myth that toy companies have persisted with for a long time. There's a lot of figures of Gohan looking like this. Looking like a lie. And, so again, maybe this did happen in Super and that's what this is a figure of, but if it's not, then this is just like another shitty Gohan figure looking like he's not supposed to, when they could release a lot of other types of Gohans from a lot of other cool eras of Gohan. And, I also don't know why he would, well, I'm not even going to say it. Anyway, I hate that toy. But because this is so unusual, like, you just wouldn't see him like this anyway. It's such a non sequitur, fantasy, fanficky kind of thing to begin with. It's like, it's just so much better than this piece of shit, and it's just so much better than this. Like, whatever face sculpt problems this has, like, it doesn't really matter, because he doesn't have to look like Gohan the way that I expect him to. It's like an evil Gohan, and that's cool. I like it. It's good. Boy, let's go through the rest of them as fast as possible. So, was it Goku Black Super Saiyan Rose? Is that what it was called? Yeah, I mean, nice. Very, very nice. I don't think I have the regular Goku Black figure, and I liked the whole Goku Black saga with, how do you pronounce that character's name? Zamatsu? I have him too. Where is he? I loved this character, actually. I thought he was really cool. And this is a great figure, actually. This is, I thought, actually, this was probably going to be one of my favorite figures in the whole series. It's not, but it's very, very nice. I don't know what else to say about him. I will say that the Figuarts one that is scheduled to come out does look pretty dynamite, so there's that. I will not be getting him. I am perfectly satisfied with the Dragon Stars one. But anyway, back to Goku Black. Stupid face. I mean, just terrible face sculpt. But great hair. I love the color. It's just kind of gay. I mean, I love it. It's the earring and the pink hair, and it's fantastic. There's a certain level of Dragon Ball drag that does exist that I appreciate tremendously. Yeah, so he's great. I don't know what else to say about him. So there's also, like, so this is the new Vegeta. I want to say there's another Vegeta with this body, but maybe there isn't. I don't know. So I wouldn't dislike this Vegeta figure if it wasn't for the feet. Again, just being enormous. And the shoulders. I mean, this is really not good. You kind of have to have his arms. If you have his arms in a particular position, like right now, it's not that bad. But if you just have them down at all, That's a huge gap. I just don't like it. It just doesn't look right. It looks totally bizarre. Ooh. He doesn't have a fupa this time, which is good. The hair is, I mean, really the face is nice. The hair is nice. It's painted well. It just kind of misses the mark for me a little bit. This is also the new Bardock. I did think I was going to like this a lot more than I did. Again, he's a little tall. There's something not right. There's something a little bit missing from him. It's definitely not a bad figure by any stretch of the imagination. This part was just made a little bit shorter. There's just some amount of pop that he should have that he doesn't have. But having said that in any way, shape, or form, the fact that you can go to, that you could in the past go to a GameStop and pick up a new Bardock action figure is just so exciting. I do love that aspect of it because it's just, I don't know, there's always something kind of top shelf about Bardock. You expect to see a run-of-the-mill Goku figure here and there, sometimes, if you're lucky. But to find a Bardock figure out in the wild, is just so cool. So for that reason, I love him. But I do have a Goku Black. I do kind of think that there is something missing from him. So I do have a Goku Black. I have nothing else to say about this figure. The face is much better on the regular version. It's really good, actually. So this, in some ways, that's the superior one, the Goku Black. This is Cabba. Now, he was actually one of my favorite characters from Dragon Ball Super. I loved just the whole idea of Cabba. His relationship with Vegeta was so interesting, was so great. The whole idea of this other planet of Saiyans with Kale and whatever else her name was. His turning Super Saiyan, just during the tournament and everything. Just really, really cool character. In some ways, kind of like surprising that we got a Cabba character because he's not. I don't know that everybody else felt that way about this character. And it's a very strange figure in the rest of the line. There's no other character that has this body type. And the only thing I will say is I would have liked it if they had released a non-Super Saiyan version of Cabba. I have kind of thought about maybe buying a second one and customizing myself a non-Super Saiyan Cabba. Because he just looks better non-Super Saiyan, in my opinion. But yeah, I just a very unique Dragon Ball toy in the whole world of Dragon Ball toys. They're just so interesting that they moved in that direction of a Saiyan looking like this. I hope that that they do explore more about the other Saiyan world. Down the line. I do hope we see more of Cabba at some point. So briefly, 17 and 18, very nice. Never been a huge fan of these characters. Not that I dislike them. Never had many figures of 17 and 18. A lot of the ones I've had have been more obscure than anything else. I think I don't think I ever had the Irwin, 5-inch 17 and 18. I don't think I've ever had either of them. The only 17 and 18 5-inchy action figure-y kind of figures that I think I've ever had were the I think I probably still have them. I'm not sure honestly, but I know that at one point at least I had the ones from the 5-inch Banpresto vinyl 5-inch series, which were the whole series were gorgeous figures, some of the nicest ever. But I know that I never took them out of the bags, so I never really messed with them as action figures. So really happy that we got 17 and 18. I think 16 has to be imminent. They gotta make an Android 16 at some point. They would be crazy not to, in my opinion. Hit, really nice figure. I don't care about Hit at all. I know people were crazy about him. Getting a little wobbly, but really a nice. I love the plastic clothing and yeah, it's just a really nice figure of Hit. I don't know if there's a Figure Arts one. I don't know how this compares or rates to other Hit figures that may be out there in the world. Just saying, it ain't bad. Buu. So, very nice Super Buu, or not Super Buu, Kid Buu figure. Mine is quite wobbly. I did buy this one used. Kind of reminds me of the Buu, so I think in like 2009-ish or so, when the, there was, there was this weird like 4-inch series that was released in America. It was something under 5 inches, and everybody hated them. And the last line of those that they ever released was, I think they had a lot more planned, including GT figures and all this. But well, no, they put out some of the GT figures. Never mind. But the last two that they ever ended up releasing, and albeit in extremely low numbers, was a Kid Buu and a Super Saiyan 3 Goku, both of which were probably the nicest in the whole line, maybe. And this Kid Buu reminds me of that Kid Buu. I don't have either of those figures anymore. I did sell them a while back ago. Actually, this is actually kind of one of the ones like I wasn't gonna buy, because I'm like, there's just something kind of weirdly generic. It's sort of like a Piccolo figure, where it's sort of like, there's, people have done it, I've seen it, I don't need to see it again. But it's not bad. It's definitely not a bad Kid Buu figure. I don't know what else to say about it. I gotta tell you, I don't know exactly why, but I really like both of the Vegito figures in this series. I don't actually have the base form Super Vegito, with the black hair. I have seen him up close and held him in my hot little hand. I think I just didn't get him because I was getting so much else at Sell Toys that day. But yeah, for some reason this one really works. It's just a really nice, it's just a really, really nice Super Saiyan Blue Vegito figure. Vegito is, again, one of those characters I just don't really... It's not that I don't like him. It's one of those parts of Z that I've seen the least. And I don't know why that is. I've had a lot of people tell me that, though. But for some reason, that part of Z with Vegito... I've seen some of it, just not a ton of it. So I never really formed much of an attachment to Vegito. But I liked seeing him again in Super, and I actually really liked those parts of Super, so yeah, just a really nice representation of Super era Super Saiyan Blue Vegito. So 2 more figures left. They're quite similar. An excellent Super Saiyan Blue, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue God. Yeah, I don't know what we're calling it these days. I'm just calling it Super Saiyan Blue. Whis era training Goku. Beautiful figure. This body is fantastic. The head sculpt is fantastic. Again, kind of there's a certain innocence to the sculpt that's like kind of similar to the Whis era Vegeta as well, but really kind of one of the best Goku figures in the series, and it manages to do that again with competing against a Super Saiyan, competing against a Goku sculpt in his regular outfit that is really kind of above and beyond. So it's nice to see this alternative Goku that didn't really exist for long, that I liked very much, by the way, and the Vegeta, the redesign. I'm glad they didn't keep it forever, but this was a great answer, as far as like a redesign of Goku's gi. I loved it. I know not everybody did, but I loved this. I loved that we had it for even just a short period of time. But again, I'm saying this is competing with a very, very good Goku form, Goku sculpt. So it's nice that we got like a really successful alternative Goku on top of it. So one of my favorites from the series. The last figure that I'm going to show you today is one of the, again, really my only of the special ones. This one, I could get the name of like where exactly it came from. It was the CSDDDCSC. It was some convention, and there were quite a lot of. There was a 3-pack that was released with this Goku, a Super Saiyan God Goku with the red hair, and then a some other Super Saiyan Blue Goku with like the cummerbund belt thing. Wow. I wish they would have released this in the regular series. This is an amazing Goku figure. Really expensive. I managed to, generally if you go on eBay, you can only really buy him in the 3-pack. But I got lucky one day. I was, perusing, and I was able to find, actually the seller had all of them loose. And I only bought this one, and I kind of regret that now, to be honest. I at least would really like to have the Super Saiyan God one. But this is an excellent Goku figure. In my opinion, the best base form Goku that Dragon Stars has yet put out. And again, that's why I'm saying, just do it. Like, they have every reason and rightfulness to release this Goku with the base Goku head. If they just put this head on this figure, I mean, it would be incredible. Although I don't know. I hope it's not exactly this sculpt. This sculpt is great for this particular figure, though. But yeah, anyway, it's again, it's just sort of a shame that this figure wasn't more available, because it's an excellent base form Goku figure. Again, in a very unique period of Goku's existence, and I just love it. I've had a lot of Goku figures in my time, and I don't think they're all gangbusters. There's just some, just some few of them kind of jump out and are just huge winners, and this one is definitely one of those. Just a gorgeous figure. So anyway, I love Dragon Stars. I can't wait till more are released. I will, do my best to, actually keep up with the series now. Again, I am missing some of them. When I can, I will get the others. But anyway, I know this video was very, very, very long, so I apologize for that. Thank you to those that sat through it. I have been in quarantine for about 52 days now, just totally inside, have not been outside at all for all that period of time. It's been interesting. Been very busy, though. Very, very, very busy with other things at home. While I am in quarantine, I am hoping to make some new Dragon Ball toy videos. I have a very special video that I'm working on. I don't know when it's going to be done, but it is a video that I've wanted to make since the beginning of this channel, and I'm figuring now is a great time, so I'm working on the script for it. It's not a performance video, we'll say that, but I'm working on the script for it, and doing some research and putting things together, and hopefully we'll start actually piecing it together and editing it soon. So there is some stuff on the way, which I'm delighted to say. So anyway, thank you so much to all the people that have stayed with this channel for so long. I mean, this channel really has had a crazy, checkered, and storied past. I know I'm not here very often, but thank you for giving me an audience in the times that I am. I do appreciate it. And yeah, I will be back with more as soon as I can. Okay? All the best. Bye for now. Stay safe, everybody. Hope everybody's doing as reasonably well as possible, and hope this bullshit ends sooner rather than later. More soon. Okay? Take care, everybody. Thanks. Bye.